have one final question for you, and this is really, the reason why I started. I know we talked offline about this, but one of the major reasons I started this podcast was because we had conversations like what you just said about, you have this interesting dynamic right now where you have kind of the current and older generation that came from, shut up, show up, rub dirt on it, didn't have the resources. And now you have this new generation that's coming in, and they are not only more receptive to wellness. I think that they are looking for their agency to support them in their wellness. But the younger generation, there is a little bit of invincibility to that. And, you talked about that being young and adrenaline and I was the same way of like, we're not going to get hurt. And, you're not really thinking about mental health stuff when you're, younger, but especially when you're early in the career, I don't think that you're quite thinking that far ahead. And I've had so many conversations with leadership who have told me, like, I wish I would have listened to this when I was earlier in my career, or I wish I would have known about this. And maybe it would have saved me an injury. Maybe it would have saved me a marriage. Maybe it would have saved me, losing my job and, having to find my way back. If there was one piece of advice that you could give to the younger generation or the up and coming generation when it comes to wellness, what would that be?
Probably there are more out there than you think that are willing to tell you the truth of how the job has affected them. But it's going to take a trust where you don't do the great thing of, hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm great.
Right.
You've got to find people that you can sit down and talk with, be vulnerable and transparent. They'll talk to you, but nobody's going to want to share those experiences if they're afraid that it's going to be something used against them. It's going to be rumor mill. So you've got to build trust with your agency or your peer teams.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing all of your words of wisdom. You really, truly are inspiring, and I appreciate you being here. And is there anything else that you want to leave with? Any other words of advice or anything that you want to say as a final word?
My only words of advice are, like I said, in this time right now, they're not kicking down the doors to get into this profession. So if you're in leadership, you've got to invest in your people, because if not, somebody else will.